What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today, in the world of indie games, we're playing another card game. Spoiler alert, it's another card game. I told you, everything out right now is either a space game or a card game. I said it like 2 weeks ago, and the trend has continued, my friends. Well, welcome on in. This is Arcanium Rise of a Khan. This is kind of a party-based roguelite RPG with strategy elements and positional elements. Basically, you've got a team and you can move them around on a board, but all of their abilities are cards. You'll see how it plays almost the instant we get on into it. I think what's really nice about this game is that it's very well animated. Like, I really like the character design, and I very much like the spell effects and things like that. I think they've gone the extra mile to make sure the game's presentation is very silky smooth and almost has like a Blizzard-like veneer on it. Almost is the best way that I would know how to describe it. So we're going to dive on in today, spend about 25 minutes with the game, see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list or otherwise pass on. If after watching this you wanted to add it to your wish list, you could take a look at the description down below. I'll have a link for you as always. You'll also find links down there to my socials, my Discord channel, a bunch of places where I would love to have you. So anyways, let's dive on in. We're going to play on normal difficulty, and then we get to pick our party for right now. There's a number of characters that are in the game right now. Obviously, the game's in early access, so they're planning on adding more characters to the game that are going to give you more strategies and more abilities that you can play around with. You can right-click on any of these characters if you want, and it'll give you a lowdown of like all of the cards that they have available. Some of them you may not have unlocked just as of yet, but there is a meta progression to the game that allows you to unlock new cards for the characters you tend to favor or like. It also gives you a synopsis of what the character is good at. Endurance tends to be like defensive cards, things that keep them in the fight for longer, like healing, cleansing, defense. Utility tends to be kind of like wild cards that do all kinds of stuff, like move them around on the board or allow you to protect somebody else. And then attack tends to be how many damage cards they have. The difficulty is a synopsis of how hard it is to figure out the character's main mechanic. So for example, with Milady right here, she uses a mechanic where she swaps between a defensive stance and an offensive stance. And she does different things with her cards depending on what stance she's in, and then you've also got to kind of like leverage that. The characters do level up as well in between runs. You can see this right here from my previous run where I was testing things out and seeing how the game goes. Conversely, if you go with someone like Aingorn, he's a lot more balanced. He has a lot more like things going on because he's maxed out utility. He's got lots of healing, lots of defense, not quite as much attack. He's a little bit easier to learn because he doesn't have a lot of moving parts. His cards do exactly what they say on the tin. Leon, also a little bit easier. He's a paladin, so he's got attacks, he's got heals, he's got stuff like that. You can take whoever you want to take, in all honesty. It's really comes down to whatever your preference is. Most of the characters are pretty easy to figure out, like, on the fly. So I figure we'll take, you can put an heirloom on people, too. So apparently you get some kind of gear that you can apply to the characters as you go along as well. Let's go with Leon in our center slot, so he's going to be kind of our defensive master, and then we will flank him with Aurora, who I've never played before, and then maybe Tara. There we go. We'll throw that on in. I've played Leon before, but I haven't played either of these two. I've played Aingorn, Leon, and Milady because she's a cute, adorable cat, dude. She reminds me of my cat. She looks just like her. Let's dive on in. Okay, so we got to pick our bad guy. We can go off against Aranax, the Brood Queen, or we can go off against Raxzar, the Chosen. Let's try Aranax. That sounds cool. It'll give you a synopsis of her abilities so that you can figure out whether or not your team is tailored to fight her. Certain characters have elemental attunements that are better than others, but it hasn't really come into play yet. Apparently our fox is excited about going on an adventure. So the basic course of the game is to level up. You have 30 moves on the game board in order to level up as much as possible for the final battle, which happens on turn 30 no matter what you do. These little shards right here are, well, that one's not. But anyways, these shards right here, these are kind of like mini bosses. They give you like some of the best abilities, they give you some of the best cards, some of the best gear, some of the best loot in the game. So you want to keep an eye out for them. These are quests right here. If we complete the quest, we get a unique reward. Our character is right here on this tile. It hasn't been filled out yet because the game's in early access. So all we have is this board game-like token that sort of like indicates where we're at. But as the game develops, they're going to be adding more assets and things to make the game more immersive and kind of more cohesive with regards to the design aesthetic. And so just keep that in mind that this is not finalized. If you see any card that doesn't have a picture or just has a blank space or something like that on it, it's because the game just came out in early access and they're rapidly trying to get that stuff folded on out. But this game is very much like a work in progress. Let's go to the quest. That sounds cool. This looks like a map to something. Maybe buried treasure? Let's check it out. It might be something useful. Nice. Okay, so our quest is right over here. Let's go look at it. 127 gold. What's not to love? Easiest quest ever. We can go to this campfire to upgrade cards if we want. think that sounds like an okay idea. Let's go ahead and we will upgrade 4 random cards. So Fireball, Judgment, Scorch, and it looks like Judgment. So our Paladin just got a bunch of buffs. We've got a defensive battle where we've got to survive for 4 rounds, or we've got an elite battle right here where we get an artifact and 2 abilities. I'm going to go with the survival match first, just because that's a little bit simpler. However, these ferocious Iron Claws are pretty rough, and so we may struggle a little bit. So here's how the game works. We start the battle on off. Did you wake me from my slumber? Sounds like it. Sounds like it. Here's how this works. We have 3 positions. You can use an AP listed on the card. These little bubbles right here are your APs. You can use them to move people into different slots. You can only fight the person in your lane unless you have ranged attacks. It's indicated by this right here. You see the little arrow right there, the fletching? It means it's a ranged attack, which means it can fire 1 over. You can also have a sword, which means you can only hit a guy in your lane with it. We don't have any defensive abilities right here for right now, so let's start from the left and we'll work our way to the right, I think, since only this guy is planning to attack us. On this side, we have Scorch. It's going to put Burn on the enemy. Usually you can right-click on any card, and it'll tell you what the stuff does. So the Burn is an elemental damage over time effect. He's taking 3 damage at, let's see here, is it at the beginning of his turn? The end of his turn, he'll take that. We've also got a Fireball over here, which just is like a rocket launcher's worth of damage, so I'm going to go for that. The enemies in this game don't actually die, they get knocked out. Which is actually kind of an interesting mechanic because it means that you've got to kind of like figure out when it is you want to go after somebody, and single targeting somebody can be a very, very valid strategy. So we've got Pummel over here. I'm going to send that over to this side, and then we're going to send Crusader Strike onto this side because it's a cleave. You can see it damaged everybody. Over here we've got a Sniper. What does she have? 10 damage, no range limit. 7 damage, double the damage. Okay, so if we want to take this guy out, we want to fire this sniper shot over to this side, and he's been a tooken out. However, he will respawn, and it'll respawn as a new monster, and this is how all the fights in the game work. So the game has different criteria for what makes you win. Sometimes it's like defeating the minions that come out until these guys get discouraged and leave. Other times you have to slay a certain number of monsters. Sometimes you just have to hold out for a certain number of turns. I do think that's a good idea in the sense that allows them a little bit more tactical variability to the combats instead of it just being like Slay the Spire, where it's you fighting this guy over here. Either he dies or you die. I do think that allows them a little bit of wiggle room with regards to how the game works. We can put 5 poison on somebody. All right, poison that dude up. Why not? And that's going to be the end of our turn because we have run out of AP. So he's going to deal 6 damage to our tank. That's okay because our tank has lots of abilities that heal him and basically bring back his health in return for attacking. This guy's already respawned, so I'm sort of wondering if it was even worth it to take that guy on out. On his turn, he's going to poison us, and on this turn, he's going to deal damage. So it's probably a good idea. Let's go for a Judgment right here to get his health back. I can't afford the cleave, unfortunately, but we can throw some damage that way. This guy is unfortunately like super armored right now, so not much that I can do there. Oh, look at that. He's moved his damage over to this person. Okay, well, the next thing you need to know is that every character has a limit break. This little meter down here, every time you play an AP, it fills up. And when it maxes out, you can draw your ult for free and you can use it. Now's a good time to do that because it's going to give all of us immunity to 10 damage for the duration of our turn, which is going to negate this entirely. Give us a little bit of tactical breathing room so we can decide what it is we want to do and where we want to strike. I think we've got Ignite, 4 damage and 1 extra damage per burn. So we can play this like in a pretty good combo right here, actually. So let's go ahead and burn this guy up. And then scorch his ass, maybe? I don't know. There you go. So he's been wiped out. Nice little combo that we managed to fold up. Got Sniper Shot, and Heartseeker Arrow. Let's go for the Heartseeker Arrow over here to get some poison moving, I think. Oh, he had armor up, so I don't even know if we got that on him right there. That's a feels ripperonis. They do get little emotes that go over the top of the cards that I think are really, really cute. When you get with poison, there's little splashes of acid. When you're bleeding, blood splashes everywhere. When you get rooted, big vines come out of the ground and wrap around the character card. Like I said, they've actually gone out of their way to make this game actually have like a really good presentation. We can Crusader Strike right here. It's not going to leave us with a lot that we can do much with, but what we can do is we can swap him over to here so that he soaks the damage. Oh, that plan didn't work very well. She's got 4 AP for once, which actually sounds kind of spicy. Let's go with a double Sniper Shot to right here to eliminate the damage to our mage. And then she's got an ult. It does 16 damage, refund 3 fury if lethal. Well, that puts us right where we want to be. So there you go. It was lethal. I don't know what Fury does, but it looks like the Fury is our little meter down here. So we got 3 Fury for that. Sounds good. And then 3 damage is still... Oh, it's from the poison. Okay. Well... let's go with a fireball, I guess. And then we'll go with an ignite over here just to put a little bit of extra heat damage on him. We have an ult on this side. Yeah, let's kill a monster. Well, actually, I'm going to spread it out a little bit. That was really cool looking. I like the way that, like I said, the game gives me Blizzard vibes, dude. It really sincerely does. It kind of gives me like Hearthstone vibes with regards to the way that they've sort of designed the visual aspect of the game. It's very much its own distinct card game, which I like about it. I know that most of us are kind of hitting like card game fatigue right now, to where we're just like, there are too many card games. I don't want to play any more card games. Please go away with the card games. At least I feel myself in that arena. But, 8 damage is going out right there. I don't like that very much. Let's play your turn. We'll wipe out that guy. We'll throw an ignite over there. We'll use your AP to move you over to here since you're better at tanking this stuff, like straight to the face. And we will just deal some damage right there. I don't really have much else to play around with, so he's going to take 6 damage. She took a little poison damage. It's okay. We can heal everybody up at a campsite. It's not that big of a deal. After this combat, we're going to end up getting ourselves... Oh, cool. We held him back. It's over. Nice. Well, that's our victory. He pounds on his shield, apparently. I am looking forward. I do think that in order for this game to really come together and really hit like that peak of design and aesthetic, it's going to need voice acting. Like, especially if they could get something in play where each character has individual things they say to each other as they're fighting. You know, like if she shoots a fireball that kills someone, Leon will be like, a righteous use for your flames. You know, something like that. They like comment on the element. I think actually would be the easier way to do it. You tie it to the element instead of tying it to the character interactions. I think that might be good. Like she shoots a fireball. This person says like, you know, I prefer more insidious means, but it got the job done. Like something like that, you know. If you tied it to element, I actually think that would kind of like simplify the coding a little bit because then it wouldn't be direct interactions that are binary in between characters. But anyway, I'm beside the point. We get money right here. I get off on tangents talking about what I would like rather than what's in the game, and I'm sorry for that. We get to choose a new card or money for one of our characters. We can get a splash and burn over here, which is pretty sexy. Because if we can get that to the middle row, that means everybody gets a burn on them. I like that idea a lot. This guy can absorb all debuffs in a splash. And then we can get 6 damage right there. I think that's the no-brainer on that one. And then we've got a second ability that we can pick up. We can get Solar Winds on our mage. Lets her draw a card for free, but she gains burn. I think she has AP problems at the moment, so that's not really going to help. We have Multi-Shot, which deals 5 damage and an extra 5 damage for every arrow card in your hand. That sounds like it could definitely come up at a good time, and so there's our rewards. We're good to go. So we'll go ahead and close that on off. We've got another couple battles on each side. We can move backwards through tiles that we've already gone through for free if we wanted to kind of relocate and do other stuff. This is an elite fight, and this is an elite fight, and I don't feel good about that. We have an assault battle on this side, though, which gives us 2 more abilities. That one gives us 2 abilities right there. Let's go for this guy first since it's closer. And it looks like we got to defeat 3 enemies from this lineup. That should be easy peasy. We can also change around our deck, I think, actually. Like, I think we have to modify the deck in order to incorporate the new things that have been added on in, as I recall. I don't remember exactly how that works, but let's see here. Did Multi-Shot go into her deck? Yeah, I think we got to do it in between battles, so I don't think they're going to have this stuff. It doesn't auto-add it to your deck, which I think it should if you have extra slots. But anyways, we'll start the battle, and then we'll do the moving our stuff around. So a lot of damage on this first turn. A lot of damage on this first turn. A little concerning. Don't love it, but, you know. I think our best bet is to kill something. That's probably the best way to resolve this. So I'm going to focus my ire over here on this guy, and then we'll use an AP to move him where he needs to be. We got 5 burn, ignite. Okay. Yeah, so we scorch first, and then this should do 9 damage per cast. She's actually pretty strong. I like the fire mage. She's tough. Like, she deals a lot of damage, and when I was playing with the druid and with the duelist, I was having a lot of problems keeping my damage up. I was really struggling with it. So we got a couple of arrows right there. Heartseeker arrow, double the damage if they're affected by poison. I think that's a good place to start, maybe. So there's poison. Yeah, and there's a nice little grandiose hit right there. Unfortunately, the real problem we're going to run into is that our team has no defense whatsoever. None. Not even a little tiny bit. It's unfortunate. Like, what we're making up for in any defensibility is our ability to just kill stuff faster than any team I've played so far. So that's a benefit. Like, it's a thing to keep, you know, in mind. She's got 3 AP. We can throw out an Ignite over here and then a Scorch. That looks nice to me. I think that's manageable. We want him to use his Judgment to heal up a little bit since he's going to be taking a hit on this turn. And then I think what I'll do is I'll go for Crusader Strike, and that's going to allow him to draw his ult, and then we'll splash shields on everybody just to keep us alive for one more turn. We have Sniper Shot over here, Sniper Shot, and Heartseeker Arrow. So we can only pick one of these cards, which is kind of a bummer because I'd like to finish something off. This guy's got poison on him, so we'll kill him, and then we'll end the turn. He'll burn on his own on his turn. So he should be down right here. Right? Oh, maybe not. Is the fire at the end of my turn or at the end of his turn? It's at the end of the round. Okay, I'll keep that in mind then. We've got Crusader Strike. I can throw that out to there. That'll kill one of them off anyways, so no biggie, no harm, no foul. I need her to move over to here so that we can kind of coagulate some damage on this side, and then that should get us out of the fight, and then we won. We did take a bit of a scuffing for it, though. Like, we absolutely took a little bit of attrition. We've got gold over here. We've got some abilities. We can get Fire Pillar, Solar Winds, Explosive Trap. So we mark and lob at an enemy. What does that mean? So lob. This card always targets the back row, skipping over any minions in the lane, and then has a powerful status effect on the target that cannot be dispelled or cleansed. Okay. 5 damage and a splash upon hitting a target with any elemental card. Okay. I don't think we necessarily need that. I'm going to take the gold on that one because I didn't like the draws. He's got 4 damage and vulnerable. He's got Intercept, which I think is a really good card. It allows him to move into the lane that someone else is occupying, and it makes him immune to all damage when he does it. And so I feel like, or not immune, I think it's 10. No, actually it does. It makes him immune to 1 instance of damage. So I think that's a pretty good card to add to his deck. That gives us a little bit more defensive viability, which I think is our big problem for right now. I do think we should go on in here, and we should add multi-shot to the deck. Instead of, we got a lot of toxic arrows and we got a lot of Heartseekers in there. Maybe I'll take one of those out. No, we want the arrow to stay in. We want the sniper shots to come out. We want to maximize our chance of multi-shot coming up with 2 other arrows in hand. Yep, because then it does an extra 5 damage, which means potentially we could get 15 damage out of this card for 1 energy, which is like that's pretty good. We do want Dash to be added to his, or Intercept to be added to his deck. And then we took Flame Pillar on her. I think that Flame Pillar is a cool idea. And I think it should kind of replace, it should probably replace a 2 energy card. Yeah. Like, I don't want to overstack her with too many things that are too expensive. At this point, we've got to make a call as to what we want to do. This armor is heavy and hot. They never talk about that real. Oh, I didn't know there was pop-ups. I didn't have any pop-ups the last time I played the game. We kill 3 villains right here, and we'll be in good shape. But it looks like it's going to be a little bit intense, but there's a treasure card right underneath us, so I'm pretty excited about that. All right. Let's see what we got on our first turn here. We got damage going out to, like, everybody right now. So I want to swap into right there so that he takes the hit because he has the ability to heal it off. We're going to focus our hatred on that guy. I'm going to ignite you. Oh, never mind. Ignite doesn't put burn on people. It just deals damage. I should have just thrown it over there. She's got Heartseeker arrow, Sniper Shot, Toxic arrow. So I think it's Heartseeker and Toxic we want to go for right here. So we'll throw that on that side, and we'll go Heartseeker right there for a massive turn. Downshot is she's going to get scuffed, so Wah, wah, wah. You can't win them all. Okay. So with where we're sitting right now, I think we're in line for a pretty bang-up turn. I want all of my Scorches to go onto this guy because he is, like, the least damaged. And then we're going to ignite him because we want to catch up his damage with everybody else. We've got Sniper Shot, Toxic Arrow. Let's go with Heartseeker on him. That eliminates damage. Well, kind of. Hopefully that gets him. That's my hope, is that that gets him. We got to get some damage off. In fact, I can get him with Crusader Strikes right here, dude. It doesn't even matter. There we go. Pummel you down. 2 out of 3 enemies are down. And it looks like this guy's actually going to spawn a minion over here. Use your last one to move back to the center lane. $17 damage. Ooh, buddy, that's a lot of damage. I don't like that at all. Okay. We are going to intercept right here to eliminate as much of that damage as we can. We're going to Crusader Strike him to eliminate that a little bit further. And that looks like that got the damage low enough that it'll help us out. He's got fire on him. Let's go a Sniper Shot right there, then use her AP to shift over to here. And then we'll play her turn first, just to make sure we know what we're doing here. We get 4 burn out of that. Let's get it. And then we'll ignite, and that's the match. Hell yeah. Right? That was the match? Yes? No? Okay. I'll use my ult on you then. There we go. Something about a pyromaniac fox, I think, works with me on like a thematic level. Got hamstring, 3 piercing damage, and the line per fury on you. I think piercing goes through armor, doesn't it? It actually doesn't say what the piercing means right there. I assume it's just elemental. Pyromania, enchant 3, gain a shield for every burn you apply. I actually think she has to have that. I'll take that right there. That gives her some defensive utility, which we are lacking in a really disgusting way right now. Power Grip allows us to rearrange the enemy, which I think is appealing. I think it's good. Greater Fireball, use up our entire turn. And splashes. Power Grip has more tactical viability. I'm going to take that. Let's make sure that we adjust this stuff, though, before we go any further. So with you, you've got... Oh, my God. She's got, like, Molten Shield, dude. I want Molten Shield. How come I don't get Molten Shield? We'll go with Pyromania right here. I'm not going to get anything out just yet. And then we've got Power Grip over here. I'm going to leave his deck as is. I'm curious what happens if we get down to here. It says we get a slot bonus, so I'm kind of curious what that means. I don't know if we're going to get to it during the course of this. We can transmute new cards into cards of higher rarity. There's also a treasure right there. I do want treasure. Treasure sounds good. Oh, they animated the little chest. Nice, dude. Love that. Great. Fantastic. So we've got items now. So we got a Dragon Breath Potion that puts 4 burn on the enemy. That could actually combo really nicely given the right criteria. We get to pick one of these. We can have spiked shoulder pads, which means that you put a bleed on the enemy when they hit you. We can get 3 shield whenever we destroy an enemy. Is shield the same as guard? Adds 3 protection against all incoming damage this turn. I'm not sure if shield and guard are the same thing. Let's see here. Decrease the hex, burn, poison. Okay. All right. We'll play around with the Jousting Lance, because I want to see if that's like a... Yeah, I think shield is different from block. I think shield, like, endures in between hits. So we'll go for that. And then we got a new ability card. Power Grip Plus. Okay. 6 piercing damage, Thunderclap. 4 damage and apply 1 vulnerable in a splash, but it's very expensive. I'm going to go with Power Grip Plus, and I'm going to replace the old Power Grip. It's a little wasteful, but... Yeah, we'll replace that one. We'll just let that one ride inside of our inventory for a little bit. There's a campsite over here. I don't know if we should take it just yet. Did I mention this game has multiple game maps? I didn't mention this. All right, so the game has like multiple maps. This is not the map menu. It looked like a map, so like I thought I would go for it. But anyways, there's multiple maps. If you go through one of these portals right here, it'll take you to a completely different map with like a completely different elemental attunement. So you can like jump in between places basically. So we could use this to jump down to the desert. There's also like other islands and stuff that are around that you can jump to. So your option, your call. Survive for 4 rounds in a defensive battle. I do want to transmute a card into a card of a better rarity. Sure. Got a battle mace. Okay, bounty hunter special. And then we have restore 1 health whenever you damage an enemy. That actually sounds pretty good. I'm going to take that right there. And then what we're going to do is I think I'm going to put an artifact on her so she heals whenever she deals damage. We've already got the Dragon Breath potion in slot, so we're good to go right there. I don't know if I want to take the campsite just yet. We'll take another fight. Why not? We'll take another fight and we'll see what's got going on right here. But yeah, fairly well put together game. My only real problem with it is like the missing assets, and since the game just came out in early access, I don't really think that that's much of a complaint. I've played about 6 of the characters now, 5 of the characters. I like the variety in between them. Obviously, there's going to be balance passes. I do feel like certain characters are really strong right now, and other characters are kind of like they struggle and they end up backpedaling the entire fight because they're too defensive or they're too healing oriented. But once you've got the meta down, I think you're going to be able to make some pretty cool combos. Like, as far as the mechanics of the game, with the cards you're casting, there's not really too much outside the standard fare of any other card game that you've played. There's burns, there's poisons, there's blocks, there's attacks. But having 3 lanes that you have to defend from and move around and like prioritize who takes a hit and who doesn't, I think is an interesting mechanic that's going to work out and pay off long term. I think it would have... Well, it does, actually, because you can get minions, so we can get pets that'll be in front of us to fight, just like they summon pets. And so that's where the second lane comes in on the in-between. They have to go through your pet before they can get to you. I do like the artifacts. I love the art style. I think they've done a great job with that. I do think that there's something to be said about the needing for, like, voice acting and, like, some noises and stuff like that. So, like, when somebody flops over a card, you know, draws a hand, you get, like, a like noise, and like when they get like an effect that happens at the end of their turn, like block, it'd be like, you know, like a noise of metal being struck. But like other than that, like aside from like the little tactile things that I think will make the game feel better, I think the game's pretty cool, and honestly it's got me interested. This is Arcanium. I hope you guys liked it. I'll see y'all tomorrow with something hot and fresh off the indie skillet, and until then, my name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games. I'll be back.